strong, innovative leaders in our ecosystem who have built incredible businesses on top of the AppNexus platform. Now I think it's time to zoom out. What's the broader context? How does all of this fit in inside the industry and larger trends? And who better to zoom out than our own John Su? John, come on out.
You know, I actually didn't realize they were going to put my head up on the slide early. It's really round and ginormous. I got to talk to my mom and dad about that. Well, good morning, everyone. John Su. I have the privilege of serving as COO and CFO here at AppNexus. And 6 months ago, when Brian and Michael approached me and convinced me to join on board, they promised me that I get to work with some of the smartest and most experienced executives in our sector. Well, much to my chagrin, I've now learned that I am the oldest executive here at AppNexus, and I've been in the sector the longest. And as a consequence, they thought it would be a good idea for me to share with you a full history of our sector from the very beginning. So are you guys up for it? Yeah? OK. So with no further ado, I bring you a brief history of ad tech time. Now, of course, I only have 5 minutes, so I'm going to give you the Cliff Notes version of it. Happy birthday to us. 20 years, and we're here stronger than ever. Of course, if everyone remembers that, that is the AT&T ad from way back when. So how far they've come. They're a great client of ours today, and it was great to see the foresight they had 20 years ago. So many of you know I'm a huge Yankee fan, and when I think about the greatness of my Yankees in the late 1990s, I think about the greatness of the core four in our ad tech industry. DoubleClick, Engage, 24/7 Media, and Real Media. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't take a moment and thank two of my mentors and two of the true pioneers, Dave Morgan and Dave Moore, who brought me into the industry. I'm forever in your debt. But these pioneers laid the groundwork for the 2 decades of prosperity that we've enjoyed to date. And Wall Street rewarded them for it, with billions, if not tens of billions of dollars in market valuation. What's really interesting about it, however, is that even back then, in the crazy euphoria, Wall Street was pretty discerning. They actually valued companies that had full platforms and data at a higher multiple than those that they considered more media-oriented. Really fascinating. Now, we all remember what happened after, unfortunately, the great dot-com bust, as much as we'd like to try to forget. Our industry was brought to our knees. I know, because I was at 24/7 Real Media at the time, and we were struggling to make payroll several years in a row. In fact, we charged 25 cents for a cup of coffee in our cafeteria, and I would go up there and go, should I buy 3 shares of our stock or get a cup of coffee? I drank a lot of coffee. But you can see here, billions of value. And what happened? One company was worth $450 million, and the rest of the industry was worth collectively $100 million. Shocking. But very interesting to note, even back then, in the midst of this carnage, the market was still discerning. The company and platform they thought was biggest and would survive and was technology-oriented was valued at a higher multiple than everyone else. Literally, DoubleClick had a chance to roll up our entire industry for $100 million back in 2002. Well, like every great period of challenge, when you go through it, it makes you stronger. 2 survived, 2 emerged, and laid the groundwork for the next era, which I consider the Renaissance. This was a fantastic period where we all grew up and prospered together, culminating in the great consolidation of 2007. In sequential order, and people don't remember this, 6 months. 6 months. Quantum was bought by by Microsoft. Google bought DoubleClick, Yahoo bought Right Media, and then WPP bought our little company 24/7. Now, that actually laid the groundwork for a whole spate of innovation and prosperity in what I like to call the Industrial Revolution, where you actually have a whole industry thriving on the fact that we've more than doubled from that high point. While you have fantastic, innovative companies growing up in this time period. And of course, with any innovation and prosperity, it attracts a lot of giants who are looking to get into our sector. So congratulations to Russ. Your takeover of LinkedIn is almost complete. Right? And of course, programmatic is a big catalyst for all this growth. And we do have a seat at the table to help each and every one of you prosper. So where are we now? Well, from my perspective, it was the best of times. It was the worst of times. If you were a publicly traded ad tech company in 2014, it's been a brutal year. You can see basically everyone down year to date. But what's really interesting to note is that even in this tough tape, the companies that are viewed as full stack platforms are viewed relatively more than those that are media oriented. Now, the famous investor Benjamin Graham said that the stock market is a voting machine in the short run and a weighing machine in the long run. I firmly believe that. So far in 2014, votes are in. Pretty ugly election. But given the prosperity that we have before us, I firmly believe that the stock market will be much more of a weighing machine and reflect the importance of our sector within the broader internet. So we are looking forward to better days ahead. So I hope you enjoyed this journey. Like with every great Cliff Notes, in order to prepare you for the test tonight at Tau, I leave you with 5 key takeaways in our summary slide. 1, what a sector. It's growing, it's huge, and allows a lot of us to prosper and thrive. Number 2, at 20 years, people have to remember there's been high highs and low lows. Keeping your head through, especially the low lows, will make sure that you win in the next cycle. 3, companies that are deemed to have real scale get the premium in this marketplace. 4, and Michael will talk a little bit about this later on today, we are entering this next phase of the ad tech power game. And most importantly, we here at AppNexus are dedicated to helping each and every one of you win that next phase of the ad tech power game. Thank you.
Awesome. And John, before you go, I'd love to chat with you for a second. Thank you for that. Now, you've been a long time partner. You actually were a hit speaker at our very first AppNexus Summit in San Francisco. We couldn't find the clip because we didn't actually have an AV team at that point. It was that ghetto. But I remember it very well. And what's been fun for me is, first you were a client when you were at 24/7, and then you've been a friend and a mentor when you were at Recycle Bank, and now you're sort of inside the castle. And so I thought it'd be interesting for you to share some of your thoughts after 6 months of being an AppNexian of what the reality is from inside.
Well, because you couldn't find a clip, let me just summarize for you. To hell with Google. That was the main theme in 2010. And I think 4 years later, I feel that in my bones. Number 2, I think it's been a real privilege to join the team here at AppNexus. It's certainly as crazy as all of you think it is internally, but it's a good crazy because people are really smart. They mean well. They just want to do what's right thing by the industry. And everyone's really motivated to really have this competitively balanced industry. It really is amazing. I mean, there's a lot of energy throughout the office. And I think one of the big challenges for this entire industry and for many of our partners and clients is we're going to have so many opportunities in the upcoming years. Which ones are we going to choose to do? Which ones are we going to do together? And I think that's actually probably what's going to make the most impact for all of us going forward.
It's been a real pleasure to have you as part of that inner circle to help us, figure out which way to go, given the many wrong choices we've seen over the time.
Of course, as part of the inner circle, you get to watch Brian shoeless and sockless throughout the office with painted toenails, and it's fantastic.
This may be the only time I will ever be better dressed than you.
Yeah, probably is the case, right? That's quite unnerving, actually.
Yeah, I like this. This is good.
Yeah.
I have the advantage. And since I do, let me ask you a question. When is AppNexus going to IPO?
420 on November 6th. Now, I think, IPOs are just another financing event. I think, obviously we talked about the tail of the tape. I think what I would encourage everyone who is considering a financing event, do it on your terms. Take your time. Do it when the time is right, right? That's really what actually separates the winners from the losers in the long run. Do it on your own terms, and we'll do it on our terms as well.
You answered that so much better than I do.
Oh.
Thank you. Well, John, thanks a lot for joining the team. Thanks for the presentation. And I'll see you back at the office with no shoes.